Good afternoon, Mark.
Hi, how's it going?
Really good. As I mentioned earlier, I just got back from Vancouver Island, so I've been blessed with doing some wonderful fishing off of Vancouver Island with some close friends, and I pulled into town. I'm in Vernon, British Columbia,
Hmm.
late last night, and back at work and enjoying these rather choppy markets.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a wild ride the past couple of months here for sure. I think
So I'm
yeah, go ahead.
I'm here with Elfenbein, Mark Elfenbein, who's the Chief Executive Officer of X1 Esports. Um, Mark's a very interesting gentleman that we were fortunate to get involved in one of the early financings of X1 prior to it going public. So I guess part of what I thought we would do here today, Mark, is really appreciate you taking 5 or 10 minutes to talk a little bit. I guess there's two things that I thought would be really worthwhile to talk about is your background as a chief executive officer, and then secondly, where we're at in terms of the development of X1.
Sure.
You had a reasonable debut on the stock markets, and I know that there's lots of plans to grow the business. And once again, I'm with the chief executive officer, Mark Elfenbein. And it's a very interesting area for me because I'm, a lot of times focused on the resource side, but as investors, we're looking for deals that have very good management, have wonderful projects, and are available at the right price. And that applies to any business, and whether it's public or whether it's private. And so we really wanted to take some time to build some awareness with our listeners on who you are and what your plans are for X1.
Sounds great. Yeah. So a little background about myself. I've really been in the entertainment, technology, gaming, and music space for a while. In fact, my family actually founded in Winnipeg what became the largest music business in Canada, which was called KTEL at the time, and that business grew to be a significant global operation. Multi-$100 million a year kind of a business, and really pioneered the way that music was sold direct to consumers, often using television and retail, and quite a popular company globally actually. And so kind of learned my chops in that space for a few years and had some good success there. From there, I co-founded what became a publicly traded gaming company in Canada that was called Fun Technologies. And it traded under the symbol FUN, F-U-N, and interestingly, IPO'd at a similar valuation of X1, and had a very similar strategy where in the fun gaming business, we really rolled up 7 to 8 gaming assets that were in the esport area, pay-to-play gaming, fantasy sports, mobile gaming. That business, within about 3 years of going public, was acquired for just under $500 million by a big US entertainment conglomerate called Liberty Media. So, from those two combinations, that really set the course for me to be involved and take many businesses public that were in this, technology and new media space, and landed me at X1, where we're really not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're doing really a more modern version of the success we had in the Fun Technologies business.
Yeah, no, and I think I remember the first call that we did together, and when one of our associates was introducing the deal to us, and he said, well, did I have any questions? I said, well, how in the world did you find Mark? And that's a very interesting background, and you must have had a lot of fun having that kind of success. I mean, so we're really excited to be involved, and I think for people that are looking for diversification in the portfolio. These days, I had a really interesting call with one of my pals this morning, and his quote was, "Our commodities turning into the next cryptocurrencies," which clearly doesn't make any sense. We need real things, we need commodities, we need real businesses. And I think what attracted me and a few of my investors is the quality of the management, and the fact that you're actually going to go out and build a real business around this esports business. So maybe just quickly tell us a little bit about what your plans are with X1, and I'm with Mark Elfenbein, who's the chief executive officer of X1 that just went public. You can find it on the stock market. And of course, you can always go to their website to get more information, but maybe just give us a few minutes as to what your plan is, Mark.
Yeah, that sounds great. And so one thing I would say, even though we have the word esports in our company name, we're a much more broad business than just esports, which is just a component of the very large video game industry. So when you think of the video game industry, the one nice thing about it is that it's a business that always reinvents itself. So if you go way back in time, we had, Ataris, very rudimentary, systems. But, every couple of years, this industry, technology gets better, the customer experience gets better, the systems are better. So gamers, they continuously reinvest into new systems, new games, new experiences. So as a result, if you can believe it, in 2021, the video game industry dwarfed the combined size of the music and movie business, where the video game industry was worth about $180 billion in 2021, and it's growing 10 to 15% every year. So back to your comments about the choppy markets, the gaming business did very well through the COVID lockdown, because gaming was a very natural thing to do at home. And because of it, it expanded to many generations, where you think about gaming, that's maybe a teenage to 20-year-old kind of a product, but now it goes to every generation, where the last stat I saw was that there's over 3 billion people globally that play video games, and it just kind of continuously grows as the space reinvents itself. So that's very good for us, because there's a lot of these new assets that are coming up in the video game industry. Think of thousands of companies that comprise this business, and we are opportunistically finding some of these assets before they become too large in their respective areas and acquiring them for our business. And this was a very similar strategy that we had at the Fun Technologies business, where the first acquisition was just a $1 million revenue pay-to-play gaming business. And then that entity grew to about an $80 million business in around 3 years. And that's how we're kind of looking for some of these gems in the video game industry. So that is one of the focus points in terms of our holding company, is video game focused. The other industry that we're also entrenched with is called the creator economy, which is a new term and almost a new industry, and is also equally as exciting. Where if you kind of go back in time, historically, there's been a few television networks out there, 10 to 15 programs that got all the attention from billions of people on the planet. Fast forward to 2021, now we have 50 million people that consider themselves content creators, where they're out. And really what this creator economy is, just to provide a little more detail to your viewers, it's really a software facilitated economy that allows creators to earn revenue for their creations. And if you think about the examples of these software platforms, it's platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, where these creators can kind of broadcast themselves. And the tie into our business is that a very high percentage of these content creators are broadcasting themselves playing video games or commentating on others playing video games, to the point where there's a dedicated channel called Twitch, which is a video game streaming platform that Amazon acquired, that at any given time has over 100,000 live streams of people playing video games with like these huge audiences watching them. So part of our strategy also is acquiring businesses in that category, which the last estimates we saw was $100 billion business for that, or $100 billion industry for this creator economy, and significantly growing as mobile apps like TikTok are growing. So these are the areas that are really comprising the X1 business.
Well, it's I've learned a lot. I mean, and not only today, but just in some of our previous conversations. So I really appreciate you taking the time. It's really built my awareness, and I know it'll be really useful call for some of our listeners. So, once again, I mean, thanks for taking the time, Mark. And I'm not sure where I'll see you in person, but hopefully in Vancouver, or if you're out in the Okanagan. But I've been here with Mark Elfenbein. He's the Chief Executive Officer of X1. A very exciting story, and really appreciate you taking the time, Mark.
Yeah, thanks. Really appreciate it.